Hey bunnies, welcome to another Naked Sunday video if you're watching here on YouTube. If you are listening on your favorite podcast listening app, welcome to another episode of Naked Sunday, the podcast. Before we begin, go ahead and grab yourself a drink. What I'm drinking is vodka and ginger ale. So pause this video if you need to, grab your drink, come back, and let's talk. So for this video, I want to talk about drunk head, giving head while drunk. Okay, now I do have a video up already on drunk sex. This is kind of teetering into that, but we're focusing on cunnilingus and fellatio. I want to focus mainly on, I just said cunnilingus and fellatio, but the fellatio aspect of it all. When drunk, right, and giving head, it can be very memorable. It can be very sloppy. It can also be one of the best experiences ever for the receiving party. Okay, when you are intoxicated, you are more free, you're more liberated, you're more willing to try different things. When you're drinking and you're giving a blowjob, you're more likely to be able to receive more of your partner deep down your throat. So deep throating becomes easier, right? That's one thing. We love that for us. The next thing that becomes easier is making it super wet. Because you're deep throating, you're creating a lot of saliva, right? Unlike when you're smoking, your mouth doesn't get as dry as when you drink. So it does become very sloppy. Not relaxed gag reflex, but like a more active. It's more likely for you to throw up on your partner when you're drinking, when you're drunk, than not. Okay, so keep that in mind as well, and figure out, understand, learn, I guess, if your partner is into that, if they don't mind some throw up on them. What I will also say is, if you do happen to throw up, you're more likely to not stop. You're more likely to continue doing what you're doing, because if you do genuinely enjoy performing, if you enjoy pleasing your partner, if you enjoy making sure that they're satisfied and fulfilled and happy, then you are going to keep on going. When you are drunk and giving head, it's also more likely that you're going to be less in control of your mouth, and you might end up scratching your partner with your teeth. So you have to be mindful of that as well. This is why you want to make sure that you're doing this with someone that you trust, who trusts you, who know that you're not intentionally trying to hurt them, and know that they won't try to hurt you in like quote unquote retaliation. Okay, when giving head, when drunk, I recommend doing it in a large enough space. If you're going to do it in a car, it's going to be more uncomfortable for you. Like, you can still get the job done, obviously, but you're more comfortable in a space where you have room to position yourself so that you're comfortable while you're performing. Okay, while giving a blowjob, let me specify, while giving a blowjob, it will be easier for you to make sure that your partner has an orgasm from head. If you've never made them come from head before, while you're drunk, it's going to be a lot easier because you are so much more relaxed, right? You care less about your nose running, you care less about what your hair is doing, you care less about what they're thinking about while you're down there. If you're self-conscious and always in your head, you're caring a lot less about these little trivial things so that your performance is more top tier. I'm not saying do this every single time you want to suck some dick, okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you just so happen to be drunk and you are performing, those are a few of the benefits. Okay? Okay. If your partner happens to have a larger member, prepare to wake up the next day with a sore throat, because again, you're taking in more than what you normally take in. You're doing more than what you normally do. You are entirely more relaxed. So when you would normally stop yourself from doing certain things or going to certain levels or whatever the case is, you're now just doing it. You're now just taking everything in and enjoying the experience. When giving a blowjob while drunk, from my personal experience, like I said initially, it's a lot easier to make them come from head because you are more aggressive in a sense, right? And unless your partner does not like it too hard, right? Which, if you really think about it, you could get too hard. That can be seen as a downside to it, because you're so in your own world doing your own thing, you're not realizing that you're probably squeezing too hard, or you're sucking too hard, or you're on his balls too much, or something. You're overdoing something because you're so like in the zone, right? So you have to, it's going to not only have discomfort for you the next day, but possibly also for your partner the next day. Now, when it comes to performing cunnilingus, that's you giving your girl head, okay? This one, I feel like, is entirely easier than sucking dick. No. This one, I know, is entirely easier than sucking dick. If you enjoy going down on your girl, you're going to extra enjoy doing it while you're drunk, okay? She's going to extra enjoy it while you're drunk, okay? This is going to be her opportunity to relax while you literally devour her. The last time though that I gave a girl a head while I was drunk, damn. Oh goodness. It was such a long time ago. I really don't know. It was such a long time ago. Geez. Okay, so let's go with most memorable, because the last time, oof, I don't know, sis, but most memorable, she squirts on my face. Yeah. I still don't know how I feel about that. Like, y'all can have it. Like, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But she squirt and I moved because my fingers were in her as well. So I moved and then just kept doing this. So I'm not a fan of like fluids of that nature, like, you know, but I was happy for sis. I'm glad I was able to do that for her. Yeah, if you're on the receiving end, if you're drunk and on the receiving end of what am I trying to say? If you're drunk on the receiving end of receiving cunnilingus, it's again a top tier experience, right? You're now laying there, or sitting on their face with zero inhibitions, truly. Like, you're so relaxed. You're allowing your body to just do whatever, right? It's also the time where you probably want to experiment with another girl. This is the moment where all your deepest, darkest desires want to come to fruition. Like, a few of my experiences with girls have been while they're intoxicated. Like, and I like all pervy shit aside, right? Because it's not me approaching them and taking advantage. It's literally all of us hanging out. They know I like girls, and they will, the only time they'll want to experiment or to try me is when they're intoxicated, because they want to laser blame it on alcohol, right? So all pervy shit aside, when you're intoxicated, you're more likely to do things and try things that you wouldn't when you're sober. So more on the precipice, I guess, of receiving head while you're drunk for the people with a penis. If your partner isn't also intoxicated, if your partner isn't the quote-unquote freaky type or the quote-unquote throat goat, while you are intoxicated, you cannot expect them, your partner, to just be willing to open wide and receive you. That's not how it works, right? And it's the same thing with people with a vagina. You cannot just sit on your person's face and expect them to fulfill your deepest, darkest if they're not naturally that person, right? And this is where a lot of issues can arise within your relationship. If at one point in time they were hypersexual and then all of a sudden they're not, discussions need to be had. And this is where we're going to get a little bit deeper with the conversation, right? When you're sober, if the sex is lackluster, you getting intoxicated is not going to make the sex any better if your person isn't also intoxicated, for one, right? And for two, if your person isn't sexually attracted to you, or if you're not sexually attracted to your person, or whatever the case is, then it's highly unlikely the sex is going to be good there either. Like, the sex is highly more likely to happen. It's highly more likely to be better than it usually is, but it doesn't guarantee that it's going to be knock your socks off, rock your world type of sex if the connection isn't there. Feel me? It could be you meeting someone in a bar for the first time and having that connection. Initially, you're both, intoxicated, you have a moment. Fine, that's one thing. But if you've been involved with this person for a very long time and everything has just been going downhill, or is it uphill? Which one is the bad one? Uphill or downhill? I don't know. It's a struggle, right? It's a struggle. If you're going downhill, it's a struggle to draw brakes. If you're going uphill, it's a struggle to climb. You two need to make sure that you're having regular check-ins with each other to see where you two are emotionally, mentally, all of that. You two need to make sure that you're having conversations throughout the day, and I say this all the time. You two need to be flirting with each other nonstop. You two need to be having talks about sex. You two should be watching porn together. You two should be talking about fantasies. If you're into opening your relationship and inviting other people in, talk about people who you find attractive, things that you like about them, things you don't like, things you want to try, things that you would try, things that you have tried. You two need to make sure that you're both on the same page with anything and everything. You two need to make sure that you guys are on top of your game as far as your relationship goes, to be able to experience the best head on both ends, the best sex on both ends, the best everything, like literally everything. Communication will solve literally all of your problems, like proper communication, like deep communication, uncomfortable conversations. But you also have to be able to listen to your person and understand where they're coming from, so that you both can come to some sort of conclusion or resolution when it comes to your relationship. Because if I'm saying I'm unhappy with XYZ and you're gonna say, well, I'm unhappy because da 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 da, and neither one of you are hearing why you're unhappy, but you're just coming with rebuttals, then it's not going to work. If one person is talking, you need to listen, receive what they're saying, try to understand what they're saying, and then you can proceed to speak and say what you feel and how you feel. But if you're going to rebut everything that they say every time they open their mouth, then you're going to continuously have a problem. Then communication is no longer the issue, it's comprehension. Because you're not comprehending, you're not understanding what your partner is trying to give to you, what your partner is trying to say to you. You're not receiving it the way that you're supposed to. And that's when your sex life will dwindle. That's when other aspects in the relationship will start to dwindle. Okay? But back to the fun stuff. When it comes to giving head while you're drunk, it's quite the experience. Okay? It's quite the, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I could do that. Okay? When it comes to receiving head from a drunk person, receiving head from a drunk person while you are sober, it could be a lot. It could it could, now that I think about it, it could very much be a lot. It could be like, what are you doing? It could be like, oh my gosh, no. It could be like, yo, you're doing too much. Especially if you are not that type of person. If you're not that type of person, receiving head from somebody who is drunk while you're sober can be catastrophic. In the same sense that giving head to someone while they're sober could be catastrophic. Because they could easily just like shove you out of the way, like, stop. What are you doing? Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Oh my goodness. So this again is why you two need to make sure that you're on the same page emotionally, mentally, sexually, all of that. Because if you aren't, it could really and truly be like high-key detrimental to your relationship. Truly. Because you being drunk while they're sober, they could find you the most annoying person in the world. Like, ew, do not touch me. Yeah. So, while I give great advice, right? Make sure that you and your person are on the same wavelength. Make sure that you and your person communicate. Make sure that you and your person, you know, have the fundamentals mapped out, so that you don't run into hiccups like these. You don't run into being shoved in the face or being pushed away or being like, ew. Like, yeah. All right. I I think I've covered enough. I really do. If you feel like I should have mentioned something that I did not mention, leave it in the comment section below. If you feel like you want to ask me something that you're too embarrassed to ask, find me on Instagram. I go by Kissyface454. Search any of the socials for that. My direct IG is at Kissyface, KISSYFVCE. I respond to any and all DMs once you're not rude or disrespectful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. Thank you for downloading. Until next time, peace sign and kissy face. If you made it to the end, thumbs up this video and share it with your friends. Yay! Bye.